Hello, bonjour. I'm at Paris de Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. Gassed up, filled in the flight plan, and I'm ready to take off for a short flight to Troyes. That's Troyes, pronounced Troyes to us Anglos who don't know any better. But I looked it up, and the correct pronunciation is Troyes. I can't spell that, but anyway. Uh, I figure it's going to take a while to get to the runway. This being a really big airport, the flight is 70 miles or something like that. So here's our route today. Taking off from Paris on runway 9, going east. Well, actually, you have to be circling around to get to this flight plan. And down this direction, and landing at Troyes in the approach required navigation performance, which is usually because of surrounding terrain. I don't know what the terrain looks like. We'll find out when we get there. So have to be at about 2,500 feet, and that's the mandatory arrival, final approach altitude. And from there, everything working properly, we should get localizer performance with vertical guidance, which means a glide path to the runway. So without any further ado, I will avoid speaking French. I don't want to. Anyway, call the tower.
Ground can Beechcraft Alpha India Romeo, get runway 09er left. Beechcraft Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo, taxi to and hold short of runway 09er left using taxiway Bravo Mike 2 Bravo Bravo Delta 1 Delta 2 Alpha Delta 2 cross runway 09er right Kilo 1 Zulu 1. Contact tower on 118.655 when ready.
Yep, that's what I wanted, was 9 left. Okay. This is going to be a long taxi because it's a big airport. And I have this cheater taxi ribbon over that way. So I'm going to head over there.
Beechcraft Alpha India Romeo.
I don't know what's with that weird paint job on that plane over there. I saw that at Watsonville the other day. Very strange. It's a mystery plane. Okay, I'm just going to follow these, and I'll talk to you when we get to the runway. It's probably going to take as long as it takes the flight at Troyes. As I said, this is a long taxi. We're still over half a mile from the runway. Well, that's 9 right, and I want 9 left, so I gotta cross this runway, and they haven't told me to stop, so I'm just gonna cross it. In fact, it looks like I have to travel some distance on it. I hope nobody's taking off or landing. Okay, we are here.
De Gaulle Tower Beechcraft Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo at runway 09er left ready for departure to the east. Beechcraft Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo altimeter 29er decimal 47 wind 049er at 17. Departure to the east approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 09er left. Cleared for takeoff runway 09er left Beechcraft Alpha India Romeo.
Okay, flaps are set. Yeah, let's go. Gear up.
Beechcraft Alpha India Romeo continue for east departure. De Gaulle Tower Beechcraft Kilo Yankee India Victor Alpha India Romeo continue for east departure.
It's a big airport. So as I said, it's going to be a short flight. We're here at this point. I think it's about 75, 80 miles to Troyes. Full name of the airport is Barberie Troyes, France. Okay. Just putting the correct pronunciation in there. Of course, in real time, it's night over here right now, and I'm not flying in real time, but I am flying in real weather. And the weather could make the landing interesting, especially if I can't see the runway initially. See when we get there. Okay, we're going to continue cruising at 3,500, but I've reset the altitude, target altitude to 2,500, because that's where we need to be at this point, right here. Ditko, or maybe it's Ditko, I don't know how the French would say it. Having done that though, setting the lower altitude, I'm going to click on this VNAV for vertical navigation, and now we have the VPath in white. So probably see along about here somewhere will start to descend to 2,500 feet between Bedva and Ditko. And if it did go that way, it'll be the autopilot managing the descent. And it said this is an RNAV approach. It's entirely satellite guided. No ground beacons. It's all GPS. And if some hacker ever got into this satellite system, they'd play complete havoc with air traffic. Because I don't think anybody hardly ever uses the old ground beacons anymore. That'd be what I learned when I first started fooling around with a simulator. VORs, which are omnidirectional beacons that send out a signal in over 360 degrees, like that, and you pick a radial to fly onto the beacon itself, depending on where you are. And then there are I forget what they're called now. Beacons that tell you the distance to your airport. Or used to know the name, I still do. Can't pull that out of my brain right this minute. Don't use those anymore. DME, distance measuring. I have it on my panel here, my radio panel. DME for distance measuring equipment that would tell you tune into that frequency, would tell you how far you are from a point, mainly an airport. And that's all kind of going by the boards now with satellite guidance. It's pretty tame countryside up here in the north compared to what you would see in, say, southwestern France. That's pretty wild down there. But up here, it's flat. Looks a lot like the Midwest. But some uncultivated areas, unlike the UK, which every inch seems to be plowed or whatever. Different landscape in France, more open. So we're about 4.7 miles to the next waypoint. PO 304 is the next waypoint, and it is 3.5 miles from us. Traveling 157 knots true airspeed, and you multiply that by 1.15 and you get the nautical miles per hour. I'm not gonna. So this is the, 11th leg of my off and on travels from Dublin, Ireland to Durban, South Africa. My plan is to, from here, I want to fly from Troyes. I want to fly to an airport near Chalon-sur-Saône, which is Chalon on the Saône River. And the reason for that is I want to fly down the Saône and Rhone rivers to Marseille, more or less. And because we traveled down those rivers as a Viking River cruise in 2006, and the Saône is really a beautiful little river. I think we saw swans on that river. It's pretty intimate. and it meets the Rhone River about Lyon, as I recall. And then we continued on down the Rhone to Avignon. So I'd like to follow that route, maybe without any particular plan other than to follow the rivers and find little airports to land at instead of doing these instrument guided approaches, because there's not a whole lot to do when you're on autopilot. So I'm flying today a Beechcraft Baron twin engine piston prop, and I like this plane. It's pretty quick, pretty maneuverable. I've gotten pretty comfortable with it, landing under different kinds of conditions, especially when I have missed my approach and had to go around. And I don't know about this paint job, but it's okay. There's no other air traffic around here, which is strange. Not strange, but there was quite a bit of activity around Chagall, Paris. Again, as I've mentioned before, if they're around, you can see other people who are virtual flying in your same airspace. You're sharing the airspace with you. We're actually getting pretty close to Troyes, the short flight. There you can see out there wind turbines. You can see wind turbines, all kinds of places. They have them on Maui. If you fly in there in real life or the flight sim, you'll see, and they catch sight of the windmills. Wind turbines, they're calling it windmills. So the airport's over here. We're gonna be sort of passing it, heading south, and then coming around almost due north. The runway is 35, runway 35, which means 350 degrees. So northwest is the direction we'll be landing. And I have 22 miles from here to the beginning of the descent. And I think I'm going to start slowing down a little bit. I'm going to descend to 3,000 feet here. So that'll put us only 500 above the target altitude. It says RNP, required navigation performance. That means you have to really observe the chart. There's no wiggle room here. You have to be at 2,500 feet at Ditko. And I don't know whether I'm going to rely on virtual navigation to get me to that, get me down to, well, I guess it'll work. Top of descent. TOD, that means you'd start down another 500 feet about here. Well, there's 6.5 miles, about 6 miles between these two waypoints. And then you start down. And I think I'm going to reduce my altitude now to 2,500. So we're going to be flying down here and then turning to left and then left again, landing at Troyes. Troyes should be actually back that way. That's 7 miles to Bedva. So, right somewhere in here, I'm going to arm the approach. And then we should get guidance to the runway all the way down. And we'll have plenty, really good visibility because these clouds are not a problem. Would be a problem if I were higher. If I can arm the approach. Okay, the approach is armed. We've got GP, glide path in white, V path in white, on autopilot to send to the runway without any problem. So the airport is over there. Barberie, Troyes. 12, a little over 12 miles. Runway 35. I like clouds. They make this much more interesting flying with some weather than clear skies, especially when the terrain is mainly flat, pretty flat.
Lima Foxtrot, Quebec Bravo, traffic Beechcraft, Kilo Yankee, India Victor Alpha, India Romeo is on final runway 35 left to land.
Okay, there's no tower here, so I didn't have to ask permission, but I did have to announce my intentions to anybody in the area, and it turns out there is somebody. There's another simmer. I don't know that they hear me. 3 miles to the final approach fix, and then we should start descending. And I had the runway in sight right there. We are 8 miles out. The question is, will I have to do this myself, or is the plane autopilot gonna do it? I don't know. There we go, we got the glide path. So we're gonna start down now. Just went green. So that answered my question. Time for some flaps. I read about this town. It's a medieval town. It might be kind of fun to do a little sightseeing here, so I may do that next, not today. And lower the landing gear. Five miles to go, full flaps. Throttle up. So about 90 knots. True airspeed is about where I want to be for landing this plane. There's still a crossing just coming through 1,000 feet. And I'll come off autopilot shortly.
500.
We're off the autopilot now. And that's it. Taxi to the gate. Nobody else here, just us. There's a tower here. But I don't know that it's functional. They've got gas. There's a gas tank ahead. I don't know if this guy's waiting for me here or whatever. Okay. So that was our flight today. We're at Berwick-Trois. Anyway, I'm going to leave you now. So, good day.